No, I think pride comes before any fall of our choosing, our desire, because it's a repetitious cycle. And that's exactly what the enemy wants us to do with our lives, right? So pride will be something that presents itself as a temptation that we can choose to accept or deny. Then we will fall if we sin. That's what I'm trying to get at. But pride will come before the fall because it blinds us to the true truth. And instead, we choose our own.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we sin.
Okay.
Any thoughts?
I got nothing.
All right.
Wait. Do you think there's correlation between... Okay, so when I think about this, like, we already know the story.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We already know the beginning. We already know the commandments.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't it interesting that the very first commandment is do not love any other gods. Do not hold any other gods higher than myself.
Mm-hmm.
And the first sin was pride.
And that's, ding, 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 pretty much what we're talking about. It's because the promise of God is his love.
Right.
And Lucifer decided, no, I don't want your love. I'm trading that for a lie. I'd rather believe that as truth. And so there's two things of the spectrum, in case you can't see both hands, is there's a promise from God of love, and then there's a deception of pride from Satan.
Okay.
And so in the world that we have today, in modern day, I'm not sure how this is going to go over, but Pride Month is celebrating sin. It's taking the promise and rainbow of God and celebrating the sin of pride and identity that we weren't supposed to have.
That's correct. I believe that.
So it's using the symbolism of God's rainbow and his promise as a covenant to excuse the behavior in the name of love, which is what God stands for. That's what I was leading up to.
Well, it's a really good all-encapsulated thought.
Yes. So, yeah, pride is the first sin and what got Satan kicked out of heaven. And the promise is continuously blasphemed and nobody understands or recognizes it.
It's true. You know what I find really interesting? The fact that Satan is created.
He is.
God is not created.
That is true.
You know, so then was pride created?
No, you're just blowing my mind. I have no idea. It's like the other day.
You just blew my mind.
I guess we're constantly blowing each other's minds. Okay. So it's like the other day when you were like, did they know about naked? Come on. How do we know that?
I mean, it's true. Like, these words that come up, like, how do we know that they're real? How do they know they're true?
Well, I mean, pride is deception at its core, right? Because Lucifer was an angel and he was like the worshiper of music or whatever, right? And he was so charismatic and beautiful and whatever. But, like, he got so full of himself.
Right.
And that's what his fall was from, is because he had too much pride. He was never meant to have pride. He was supposed to worship the Lord, his God. But instead he wanted to be God.
Isn't it interesting how when people do such things,
Mm-hmm.
it's because they're trying to deflect their feelings onto other people. And so Lucifer deflected his thought or his word or whatever onto Eve, and all of humankind, all of humanity fell after that.
Yes.
So sin doesn't happen by itself.
No.
One sin happens with a whole bunch of people.
Right. It happens with deception. And deception will lead us to compromise. It will lead us to lies and manipulation. And basically everything evil stands for.
Yes.
And so the sin is anything that we choose higher than God.
Correct.
And I think that's the highest misconception of what sin is.
True.
Most people think, oh, it's just doing drugs or it's just killing people. No, the 10 Commandments were created because God knew they couldn't keep them.
Right.
He literally gave them law because that's what they asked for.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of drawing them closer to God, it drew them farther because they felt like they were being told what to do.
Yes. And how often do we feel like we're told what to do?
I mean, let's talk about that. I mean, literally, that's the whole point, is that evil is manipulating the world around us in the name representing the promises of God and deceiving so many people in the name of love and giving God a bad rap, and nobody sees it.
Yes.
I was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's why now when I see it, I'm like, whoa, how?
Well, I mean, how powerful is the Word of God, though?
It is.
Like, that truth, put in however many different ways it can be put into, coming from however many people, but God always finds a way to show you the truth.
Yeah. And then once you have the truth, what are you going to do with it?
You're going to be free.
Free indeed, and sharing the love, the actual true love of Jesus.
That's right. Well, yeah.
That was great.
That was deep.
That was a lot deeper than I thought.
All right, give us your thoughts. Thanks.